Coming up on Carolina Week, tens of thousands of students, and they all need a place to live. We look into why more and more UNC students are looking for housing off campus.
Hurricane season is behind us, but many are still struggling with the devastation the storms left behind.
When you think of therapy animals, you might not think of horses. We'll show you how they're making a big difference in the lives of those with special needs. All this and more, Carolina Week
starts right now.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
Fall semester isn't even over yet, but many students are worried about where they'll live next fall. Good afternoon, I'm Anne-Marie Haggerty.
And I'm Donnie Holloway. The demand for off-campus housing is increasing, and as many students are finding out, getting a place to live away from campus isn't an easy task. Reporter Cheyenne McNeil joins us live from Franklin Street, which is a popular area for students looking to get apartments. Cheyenne?
Donnie, apartments like these are popping up all around the edges of campus. Developers know that students are looking for places to live outside of residence halls. Peyton Chance is a UNC senior, and after living on campus for 2 years, he decided to move off campus.
I was really ready to have, my own bedroom and a kitchen space and, be able to leave campus for the end of the day and feel like I had gone home.
Chance lives in Townhouse, unfurnished apartments only 2 blocks from UNC's campus, and known for being close and affordable. At Townhouse, a 4-bedroom apartment is $475 per person, plus utilities. But that's compared to neighboring Lux at Central Park, where a 4-bedroom apartment runs for $829 per person, and that is before any additional costs are added. And comparatively, on-campus students who live in traditional double rooms pay $6,480 per year, which comes out to about $648 a month, almost $200 more than Townhouse. According to the UNC Department of Housing and Residential Education, roughly 40% of undergraduates live in on-campus housing. But what is the main factor that UNC students consider when planning for housing?
It was just cheaper for one, and then I had more freedom than I would in a dorm.
It was a mix between the price and being able to have my car and not having to pay for parking.
I know living on campus is definitely more expensive, but the fact that it was all paid at one and up front, I didn't have to worry about how I was going to split my money.
And for Chance?
And this is definitely the cheapest option that I found that was that close to campus. And it was a lot cheaper than living on campus, so that made it an easy choice to move off.
UNC Housing says it understands the types of amenities that students want to see and are working to make improvements. But even without those changes being made, they say that residence hall occupancy is at 95%. Donnie?
All right, Cheyenne McNeil live from Franklin Street. Thanks, Cheyenne.
The man accused of planting an explosive device at the Davy poplar tree that injured a professor earlier this month appeared in court over Thanksgiving break. 24-year-old Joshua Daniel Edwards is a former UNC student. He's being charged with 6 felony counts, including assault with a deadly weapon. Edwards has been held in the Orange County Jail under a $200,000 bail since being released from UNC hospitals on November 16th, where he was undergoing a mental health evaluation. Edwards' attorney says that his client's actions were a result of psychosis.
It's a trending topic, especially on social media. We're talking about net neutrality. Reporter Lydia Davis joins us live in the studio to explain what net neutrality is and why some are worried about the future of online content. Lydia?
Donnie, the FCC announced plans to eliminate the Obama-era net neutrality rule on the internet, potentially jeopardizing equal access to the internet for all. Net neutrality makes the internet a public utility, requiring internet service providers like AT&T and Verizon to provide equal access and rates in delivering content. But the FCC has unveiled a plan to scrap the neutrality rule. This may be a problem for people like Sydney Morris. She's from the mountains of western North Carolina, where her internet access is unreliable and slow, and there aren't many internet service options.
Most people, especially down here, the only way they can have internet is through AT&T, so they definitely have a monopoly in the mountains.
UNC computer science professor Kevin Jaffe says net neutrality impedes innovation. but that the conversation of equal access is a separate issue that will take some government regulation.
I do have concerns that there needs to be some oversight for places where effectively monopolies exist out in the rural areas.
He says if these ISPs were to overstep their boundaries, there would be a natural system of checks and balances to overrule them.
The internet is oxygen. People cannot survive without it. And if any aspect of it changes in a way that they don't like, these service providers are going to get fantastic blowback.
But UNC media law professor Tori Ekstrand says that placing content visibility under the discretion of ISPs could lead to First Amendment violations.
So if you are someone who doesn't have the means or the power necessarily to wield on the internet, your voice is lost. So the First Amendment concept of the marketplace of ideas means those voices potentially will be shut out or less seen.
Major ISPs say they're committed to keeping the internet open and free, but critics like Netflix and Google say without net neutrality rules in place, they're skeptical. The FCC plans to vote on the net neutrality proposal on December the 14th. Donnie?
Lydia Davis live from the studio. Thanks, Lydia.
Whether you're looking to make a model for a class project or embroider a shirt with your initials, there's a place on campus for you to do it. It's called a makerspace. Located on the ground floor of Carmichael Residence Hall, Blue is the fourth makerspace open on campus, but it's the first to be located inside a residence hall. It has 24 state-of-the-art 3D printers, an embroidery machine, sewing machines, hand tools, workbenches, and more. Blue is open to the entire Carolina community from 4 until 10 p.m. If you want to participate, you must attend a training session to use the equipment.
When you're in a town like Chapel Hill, it's easy to take access to hospitals for granted. But nearly 30 million Americans, it takes more than an hour to get to a hospital with trauma care. Reporter Alexis Juarez takes a look at what are called hospital deserts.
Haunted houses? Pretty easy to find every October. So what makes the haunted attraction in the town of Taylorsville stand out? It's inside an abandoned hospital. The intensive scare unit filled the first floor of the old hospital with clowns, zombies, skeletons, and ghosts. But in many ways, the empty hospital is already a ghost to the town of Taylorsville.
There's a huge human element in this rundown, decrepit, once gem of our town. So you kind of feel like a personal responsibility that maybe in some way you've let your community down.
The closed hospital left a big void. More than 100 high-paying jobs gone. And even with no traffic, it's a 30-minute drive to the nearest hospitals.
Every patient that we transport, we're transporting them out of the county.
The hospital closed in 2004, but in its prime, it had 60 beds, 2 surgical suites, and an emergency room. Now, this is all that's left.
It's depressing for me to come up here and see, the state of the hospital. We always want new and the best, but that doesn't always happen in rural America.
Right now, making the best in the town of Taylorsville means making a haunted house out of the closed hospital and praying that 30 minutes is enough time to get patients with real injuries to hospitals that remain open. In Taylorsville, North Carolina, Lex Juarez reporting.
Wow, the parking lot of the abandoned hospital is also used to hold food trucks throughout the week, as well as a farmer's market on Saturdays. The town calls it Taylorville's Mobile Mall.
After Hurricane Maria, one UNC graduate can't reach his family in Puerto Rico to know if they are alive. We head to the island to try and find them.
That's coming up next.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities, and this cat makes me make art. because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the creative galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us. Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
2 months after Hurricane Maria, families in Puerto Rico still don't have their homes, electricity, clean drinking water. But perhaps even worse suffering comes from not knowing if their family is alive because they still have not heard from them. With the help of the Stimbler Scholarship at UNC Chapel Hill, I went to Puerto Rico to search for the missing family members of one UNC graduate. The Lopez family is lively, loving, and mostly together in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Some just arrived here, evacuees from Puerto Rico. But in the wake of Hurricane Maria, the Lopez family has still not heard from many of their family on the island. So we set out to try and find them.
The experiences for people in the center of the island, the things that they went through, I'll never be able to comprehend.
Our goal was to reach Orocovis, a town on the center of the island. A journey, usually an easy 1 hour by car, became hours. Power lines down, no cell service, no way to get directions to find the missing family members on broken roads.
If this was your family, how would you feel?
Along the way, the breadth of destruction almost beyond comprehension. Here in Orocovis, one of the hardest hit cities in Puerto Rico, you can see the destruction is massive. I'm standing in a home that has slid down the mountainside. It's built of concrete, but it could not withstand the power of Maria. You can see a baby stroller is just left here.
There are people who are still there and people who will never leave.
People like Lopez's uncle, Emerito Collazo. We only had his name and barrio or neighborhood in a city of 23,000. So we asked locals for help. ¿Vives en Orocovis? ¿Conoce la familia Collazo? We kept asking, and after hours of searching, we got lucky. We found a relative and then found him, alive, but not doing so well. There isn't communication between my siblings, he says, because we don't have reception. No water, no power in Collazo's house, but unlike neighbors, standing. For his granddaughter right next door, the survival story was more grim.
What, this was the washing machine?
Yeah. We walked to meet and go through the house with her for the first time since the storm hit. My name is Yondelis Collazo. I'm 21 years old, pregnant, and this is my house.
Solamente pude vivir en la casa una semana.
She only lived here for 1 week before Maria came and destroyed her home. Sí. ¿Cuántos meses?
Pues tengo ahora mismo 4 meses.
Okay, 4? So she is currently 4 months pregnant. This room was going to be a room for her new baby, and now the entire house is destroyed. I cannot imagine. As tragic as Yondelis' story, Mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulín Cruz, has seen this all over the island.
We have people without water. Only 60% of the people don't have power. It's very, very painful. We will never get back to the same normal. We will have to redefine normal.
All the while, Collazo's family in North Carolina has no idea how bad it is or how they can help.
Everything I do for the foreseeable future is with my home in mind. Yo soy Boricua.
Boricua, the native people of Puerto Rico, now facing challenges to rebuild that the Lopez family knows only too well.
So I want to send a message to the Lopez family. Just know that you're part of us and we're part of you. you're Boricua no matter where you are.
Separated by the storm, photos, a reminder of when everybody was together. Boricua. The Lopez family has made progress contacting their family members on the island, but the island is still largely without power and cell service.
What a touching story. No cell phone service, no power, no water, but there's still some ways that people can help.
Absolutely. The situation is still really tough, even months after the storm. But when we spoke with Mayor Carmen Yulín Cruz in San Juan, she said that people can donate water filters. That's a really important thing for families to have. For $30 to Operation Agua, you can provide one for a family. So Giving Tuesday was yesterday, but if you feel led to do so, you can give back in that way.
Good to know that people can still help. Great story.
Absolutely. When Carolina Week returns, it is November, but is sweater weather here to stay?
Meteorologist Alex Commit will have the Chapel Hill forecast.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. I hope you all had a good break and are enjoying this awesome weather we're having lately. A dry week so far, and more of that ahead. And warm today, but I also have when the next big cool down will be. Take a look at this awesome viewer picture over Carroll Hall. These clear blue skies, not a cloud in sight, and you can see that from the satellite image as well. Not a cloud over North Carolina or for hundreds of miles for that matter. But back to the west here is a little disturbance, a low pressure, and this will get pushed over as a cold front associated with these clouds back here moves across our state late night tomorrow into early Friday morning. Currently right now though, sunny and clear with calm winds, 61 degrees. Tonight, you'll get an opportunity to see the International Space Station fly by. It should be visible around 5:34 p.m. For about 4 minutes and appear 44 degrees above west-southwest to 10 degrees above the northeast. Tonight, we'll drop down into the low 40s for our low with clear skies, cold, light winds with that as well. And just to show you, today we got up to the 70s, and this is the pattern that we'll have for the next week. It's really great. We're under this ridge of high pressure, which is keeping us warm and dry right now. You can see tomorrow, much of the same, followed by Friday as well. We cool down a little bit on Saturday, but that's because we'll be under a little bit of cloud cover. But Sunday, back into the 60s again. Monday as well. Tuesday, Wednesday is when we drop into the 50s and it starts to cool down, and this is the beginning of what looks like a pattern change as we get towards the weekend. And Saturday is really cold. This tiny red line here, this is the freezing line, so it would be a little chilly come next weekend, but enjoy the warm weather for now. It should stick around for quite a while. Back to right now, tomorrow, here's the surface map, and you can see this cold front that I was talking about back to the west is advanced, and it's pushing that moisture across the country. And this was what I'm talking about. We'll be passing over late tomorrow night into early Friday morning. Should pass through rather quickly. You may not even notice that it came by. There's such a small chance of rain. But behind that, another ridge of high pressure building in, which is why we keep those 60s and clear skies for the next week. Tomorrow, your breakdown, a mild 45 on your way out the door. A little chilly, but sunny from start to finish. Warming up to near 60 degrees by noon, and then 57 around 5 p.m. for your commute home. With the Raleigh tree lighting this Friday in downtown Raleigh, 4 o'clock should be 58 degrees. It's a clear sky and a great night for that. 6 cooling down into the lower 50s and then the upper 40s by 8 whenever it should be all said and done. And to recap for our 5-day forecast, you can see that temperatures across the board are pretty steady, cooling down into the 30s for the lows. The only time it's not as warm is Saturday when we have that cloud cover, but back in the 60s and a great week ahead, so it's definitely something to enjoy.
Well, Alex, wish that warmer weather would stick around.
I know, don't we all? Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, but you will get to enjoy it for another week at least.
Okay, well,
so nice.
At least
warm.
Another week.
Exactly.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Absolutely.
When Carolina Week returns,
we'll take some time out of your day to preview the men's basketball team's next matchup.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Bailey Ingalls. The state of North Carolina won't be getting a new professional sports franchise anytime soon, as both Raleigh and Charlotte missed the cut for the first 2 Major League Soccer expansion teams. 2 more expansion teams are to be announced, and the MLS has informed Raleigh-based North Carolina Football Club that it's still in the running for one of those 2 spots. Professional soccer isn't coming, but there's still plenty of college soccer action going on in the Triangle. The men's team will face the Fordham Rams on Saturday in Cary for the right to go to the College Cup. Fordham must have a vendetta against the ACC because it took out 11-seed Virginia and 6-seed Duke on its way to the Elite Eight. If the Heels want to avoid the same fate, they'll need to put the ball past Fordham goalkeeper Rashid Nuhu. Nuhu is a stone wall in the net for the Rams, racking up 11 shutouts in just 22 games. He's also proved to be a clutch player, making key saves and PKs to advance the Rams past the Blue Devils, including this game winner. The Heels better bring their scoring boots. While the soccer team is trying to reach the title game, the men's basketball team played for the PK80 victory bracket title against Michigan State on Sunday. If you caught the game, it didn't go well, and the new AP poll reflects that. Carolina drops from 9 to 13 behind 3 ACC foes, Miami, Notre Dame, and unfortunately for Tar Heel fans, Duke, who remains at number 1 by unanimous vote. The Heels will have a chance to redeem themselves tonight at 7:30 when they take on the Michigan Wolverines in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. The Wolverines bring in a team that made it to last year's Sweet 16 and pushed the Oregon Ducks to the brink. The matchup to watch will be Luke May versus Michigan's Mo Wagner. Like May, Wagner can beat you inside or out. Watch here as he nails this clutch 3 to give Michigan a win against VCU in Maui. Wagner is averaging almost 16 points per game and he can put you in the spin cycle. So May will have his hands full. The first 1,500 students at the game will receive posters honoring the 1993 National Championship team's silver anniversary. And that was also the last time Michigan and North Carolina met on the basketball court. Let's take a look back on the final minutes of that night in New Orleans. It was a tight one throughout the game, and late in the second half, Final Four MOP Donald Williams tickles the twine to bring Carolina within 1. Seconds later, on a textbook fast break, the Heels' all-time steals leader Derek Phelps lays it in to give Carolina the lead. Then, with UNC holding on by 2 in the waning seconds, Pat Sullivan misses the free throw, and Chris Webber doesn't travel apparently? They should probably have taken a look at that. He races up the floor and calls a timeout, but wait, Michigan has none left. That's a technical foul, giving Carolina free throws and the ball, and sealing their 4th national championship.
All right, we will be watching tonight. A good game.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Bailey.
When Carolina Week returns, trot on over to Mebane for some helping hooves.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
We close with a very special story tonight.
Therapeutic horseback riding is a unique method for helping people with special needs and disabilities. Carolina Week's Emily Padula traveled to Mebane to see how horse therapy benefits one Chapel Hill family.
This is Millie. She is 6 years old and has autism and cerebral palsy. She comes here to the North Carolina Therapeutic Riding Center in Mebane for exactly what it sounds like, therapeutic riding. Millie and therapy horse Dooley trot around the arena in 45-minute sessions. For 4 years, Millie's father has watched his daughter's progress.
She's a much bigger girl. Then she was very floppy. She didn't have much core strength. Now she has much better core strength. Her walking, as you see, she can walk with a walker, which she couldn't do before, and so she's really made a lot of progress. Yeah.
But how did she get to this point? Physical therapist Margie Munzer credits the partnership between horse and rider.
We're looking at how is the horse influencing the rider. So in the therapeutic riding, it's how is the rider influencing the horse? And in therapy, what is the movement of the horse? How is that able to influence the rider?
The movement of the horse develops posture, balance, and sensory modulation. But for Munzer, it's more than just the physical changes.
What impacts me the most is seeing how emotionally they change, that they might be very nervous and have a lot of trouble doing things in the beginning, but then after they've been coming for a session or two, you see them coming down. There's a little path that they come down to get to the barn, and they're just, usually ahead of their parents, and they're so proud.
When the lesson is over, Millie leads Dooley to the barn for some yummy apples. In Mebane, I'm Emily Padula reporting.
One word, adorable.
So cute. And horses are the sweetest, most sensitive animals. So for those children to be able to ride them, oh gosh, great
so
story.
Special. I've never been on a horse before, have you?
Really?
Yeah.
I actually I rode growing up and loved it. And they were so sensitive. Even as a little girl, these huge horses, my mom got a little bit nervous, I think, putting me on them, but so much fun. You got to try it.
Yeah, I got to try it. Okay. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.